So welcome, Heather. I'll explain a little bit of how I do the readings and then I'll go ahead and jump in.
Okay.
As I'm doing the mediumship part of the reading, which I know we're going to be kind of overlapping and doing a little bit of both. We're going to be doing a soul guidance reading for you and reading your energy, your aura, things going on in your life today. And then we're also going to do some mediumship, or we're leaving it open wherever spirit guides us. But that's the intention I put out there.
Okay.
When I am delivering, whether it's pieces of evidence, delivering things about your loved ones, I just ask that you tell me a yes, no, or I don't know. And that just helps me to stay in the flow of receiving the information, delivering the information to you. There'll be lots of time for questions, towards the end. But as I'm delivering, I'll just ask that you just give me the yes, no, or I don't know. And I ask for that just because it really helps to hear your voice throughout. So it really helps to hear what's resonating for you and what's not. And if it is a no, it's perfectly okay. I could be misinterpreting something. There's so many things that can go wrong in the communication, so it's certainly okay. So just answer those to the best of your ability. It just lets me know where we're at, where we're tracking. Okay.
Okay.
And let's see. I also want to say anything that comes forward, it's always your responsibility what you do with that information. I deliver everything I receive to the best of my ability. Just a normal disclaimer we do for everybody there. But with that, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. Okay.
Okay.
So since we're doing an hour together and we're doing kind of both types of readings, I usually begin with connecting with a person. So I also invite you to just sit back, relax, and just enjoy the reading, because really there's not, I'll be doing the work here. So you just get to receive, enjoy. Like I said, I'll check in a couple of times about information that you're understanding or not understanding, but really it's about, it's a heart to heart connection, it's soul to soul communication, whether we're communicating through a psychic reading or a mediumship reading. It really is bringing forward the information at a soul level. And then we begin with that. Communication is at the heart. So I tell people that's where I start. I drop down into my heart, open that to receive the communication. And as I connect with you, I know we chatted just for a brief minute before we even turned on the recording here, but we did chat. But even before we were on the Zoom, in the Zoom room together, I could already feel a lot of purple, violet, lavender, a lot of color coming from you. And I really want to focus on that purple shade as I move into your reading, your assessment, your aura. I do feel with that color, to me, that represents someone who is really interested in spiritual matters and discovering the truth of things, getting down into I want to figure things out. I know that that's something that you really want to figure things out, to know why it works. When you get interested in a topic, you want to dig deep into it and you want to understand all of it. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah. And I also feel you are very open. You're very open to angelic realms and to receiving guidance and to receiving support and help from the other side. So I definitely feel a lot of openness with you, which I really do appreciate as well. The next thing they're talking about is there has been a really, really difficult situation around, sometimes when we care for others more than they care for themselves. I feel there's a loved one in your life that is really having a hard time, and you are doing so much to nurture them, take care of them, help them, support them, encourage them. You're trying to, almost we're trying to lift them up, but they are not, they're almost not ready to stand on their own. Does that make sense to you for someone in your life today? Someone that's alive, someone that's here?
Maybe.
Okay, it's okay if it's not.
Okay.
Because I feel, so I'm feeling it generally, but I'm also feeling it specifically with a person. But I'm feeling like you do really care for those in your life deeply, but often it's more than they are caring for themselves. So I'm just getting that dynamic coming up. Okay. So almost like you just want to shake them, shake it out of them and be like, okay, knock it off already. Like, just do this is what you need to do. Because you can see it so clearly. That's the other thing I wanted to say is you can really see it very clearly, like what you feel like would help them, what they need to do. And it seems so easy, but yet they don't take action on it. And that's the frustrating part. Is that resonating for you as far as somebody in your life in a situation that you've been seeing, either a reoccurring situation or something that's happening at the moment?
Yes. Multiple
Okay.
people or one? Yes.
Well, it does feel like it's kind of a pattern. I feel like it's a pattern of yours to like over like that sometimes you are caring more, like you just want to fix it for them. So there's that pattern going for you. And it would make sense that it's happening now also. So it's a little bit of both, but the part I'm gonna focus on is the pattern within you that sometimes, and I'm not sure, I'm not feeling it yet if this is the situation, but sometimes it could be a distraction from things that are happening in our lives. Because if we're focused on the other person, then we're putting our stuff on the back burner. So it's not that we're not going to get to it, we fully intend to, but it's like, well, I'm not going to worry about my stuff right now because this need is greater with this person. And that's what I think might be happening is some of the things that you need most are getting put on the back burner. The nurturance, the self-care, the self-love, the certain things that you're needing for you to give you. It's like, okay, I'm not going to worry about that now because this person needs me and I'm going there. And I get that. I have that pattern too. So I can absolutely relate to that one because I'm like, I would have like a million things to do on my list, but if my sisters or a friend or someone would call, I would just drop it and be like, I'll be right there. And then my stuff, and then I'm exhausted at the end of the day. I don't get my stuff done. And so this is a very common pattern, especially those of us that live in that heart center and really love to give and be there for others. But often, and that's why I did pull a few cards right before we started. I got the nurture card. And when I got the nurture card, I was really feeling like it was about self-nurturance. You really putting yourself high on that list, at the top of that list, because if we're not taking care of ourselves, we're not able to really give fully to others. And I knew this part of this would come up in the reading today. So I'm seeing your head nod. I can see that it is resonating for you. Yeah, I absolutely, I can relate on that one too. All right, let me go and see where else we're gonna go. Okay, so I got the success and growth card, which is really wonderful. I feel like you're moving into an incredible time right now in your life, Heather, of, again, if taking into account, making some of those changes, putting your needs higher on that list and really scheduling time for you to do some of those things you've been putting, because whatever this project is or whatever these things are, you've been putting them on the back burner for so long. It's just become such a pattern. It's so normal to do. But there is something that you have really been wanting to either share with the world, put out in the world, share with others. It's been in your heart for quite some time. And you just, again, it's been on the back burner, but I know that there's this thing that you're excited to share and you want to share, maybe even a little scared to share, which is a good sign because you're feeling maybe there's some vulnerability around sharing it and what will people think of it. But this, does it make sense to you, this thing that you really do want to share with the world?
No, I don't think, no, I don't know.
Okay. It feels like it's around, it feels like it's creative, like making something and sharing something. It's interesting because when you talked about your friend making the tie-dyed clothes, I really got a hit of like, you have your own creativity of things that you like to share and make. Oh, wait. Okay. And there's also this part about sharing your message. Like you've really been wanting to share about a past trial that you've been through and finding a way to do that to help others. Because I feel like there's often those are past experiences, that's where we are able to serve people at the greatest, because we've overcome something, and then we're able to share that out and put that out in the world and help people with our story, with our experiences. And I feel like there is this, it feels like it's coming up around a past experience, a past thing that you've overcome, and sharing that out with others. Has that not been something you've been considering or thinking about? Because it definitely feels like there's this, I know this could help others, because I figured out how to stop doing that same old pattern I was doing. And it feels like it's around relationships and how you're being treated in relationships, and then changing kind of that pattern. Does that make sense to you?
That does, yes.
Okay. And so maybe that's something you will be supporting others with and helping others with in the future. Again, if it resonates for you. And I always tell people, take what feels right for you and then leave the rest. And then, who knows down the road, but it just feels like there is this learning. It's almost like sometimes we do something wrong so many times, like we keep putting ourselves in a situation over and over and over. And then when we finally stop, we just want to tell everyone around us, like, this is how I did it. This is how it helped me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I feel like that's definitely something that you have overcome, and it would be beneficial to others. But I'll go ahead and leave that there. And I'm going to go ahead and I am feeling a gentleman with me. He was actually here earlier before we started, and I'm going to take just a minute to connect in with him. Okay, so it feels like father to me. It feels like father. It could be grandfather, but I feel like this is father. I feel like this is one thing he talks about is that there has been some house stuff going on. There's been stuff with the house going on that you felt overwhelmed about. I'm not sure what to do about this. I'm not sure, like, this needs fixed. And have you been having a lot of house things happening lately, or some house things that have been driving you nuts? And it's like, I don't exactly know what to do here. I really would like some help.
Yes. Yes.
What's that? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
That's what he says. He's kind of like, you've been saying, I'd really like some help with the stuff, and I'm really frustrated, and I get that, sometimes we don't want to deal. It's like, what is going on with this drain or this issue or whatever. So would you understand, Heather, a father in spirit?
Yep.
Okay. Because I was feeling father, but I wanted to communicate with him a little longer before. I feel like he was someone you would have called when he was here. You would have called him up and been like, this is happening at the house, or this is happening. And he would come over and help with that, or that's something he would help with, or know who to reach out to get the help for you. So he was someone you would lean on in that way. House issues, car issues, things like that, and someone you would reach out to. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't say anything else but yes and no. So I'm trying.
No, it's okay. It's okay. As long as you understand it, because that's what's coming through. I'm going to pause just for a minute, because I don't feel him very closely. And usually what that means, when they kind of stop the communication at their end, it usually means I'm supposed to check in with you. So let me go ahead and check in with you. Let me just first check in how things are feeling for you, what's resonating for you, just anything you want to share or anything you want to ask. You can definitely ask that at this time.
So my dad would not be one who would have helped me fix anything.
Okay.
But I would have called him to bitch about it, but I would fix it. But there is somebody else who would have been somebody who I could have called, who would have fixed it if he was still here as a father figure. So, and then as you said, grandfather, but he's been gone. I wouldn't have talked to him as an adult. So
let me clear it up. It sounds like there might be two possibilities with this connection. So let me go ahead and get some more information and clear it up. And I'm just kind of flooded with love at the moment as we're connecting and talking about this. Okay, so the gentleman who did help you, would you understand him helping you put together a swing set or some kind of gym system, some kind of outdoor equipment for the kids? Would you understand him? I feel like he put together like this larger unit outside, like a swing set or like one of those jumping jungle gym things. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay, because they gave me an image of the swing set right away. Hold on. And when I got the feeling, I got the image of the swing set. I also got this feeling of spending a lot of time there, spending time at the swing sets. But so would you understand having that outside, like in your backyard, or having like a swing set right there accessible?
Yeah, but they wouldn't have had anything to do with the swing set.
Okay, but the feeling I get is like spending time there. Would that have been a kind of an I get the feeling of like spending time talking outside, like lots of time in conversation. Like so whoever I have connected with me at the moment just talks about lots of time sitting out, like almost like in a back patio area, sitting out conversation. He said having a smoke break too. So I feel like there was like,
See, it's both. It could be both of them. That's what's really cool.
They'll keep giving me more. Don't worry, no worries, because they're here. They're excited to connect and excited to. So I just have to be, better at receiving, or be a good receiver. Okay, so one thing that I find, so the gentleman that I'm connected with, he talks about he's still showing me the image of that swing set, and I feel like there's a significance I need to talk about there about being available. Like even if you needed someone to watch the kids for a minute while I run and do this, like I run down and run to the gas station really quick or go do this. And I feel like this person popped in regularly, like was either lived really close or was there on a regular basis. Like it was very normal for you guys to see each other quite often. Would that make sense for the gentleman you're thinking of?
It could still be both, but yes, more so one than the other.
And I feel like I just get this feeling of complete trust, just there's trust there. There's a lot, and often would eat with the family. It was just this person was just very much part of the family, would eat with you guys and watch TV, like just is there often, like is there quite a bit. Like I just feel like there's a lot of time spent together. I also get the feeling they're making me aware of a dog. Would you have a little dog or a dog that lived with you guys? Like he's making me aware of like the dog's on the couch. Like I just feel like we're watching movies, TV, it's almost like everybody's just there together and the dog's there too. Would that make sense to you?
Yep.
Okay. As I'm connecting with him, I'm kind of moving away from it being your father and being the father figure. That's how it's feeling to me. Is that also tracking with you? Is that
no? I was thinking it was my dad.
Okay. Well, I need to just deliver to you and not try to sort it out. In my mind, I'm trying to sort it out.
They were best friends, so a lot of but my dad. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'll ask him to give me something so it's very clear who we have, because sorry, I've been trying to get that the whole time, but they send everything through images and feelings, and it very well that they're both here and they're both kind of dropping information. But I'm just going to ask one of them to to give me something that will be really differentiate for sure who we have. I got a necklace that you would have received a necklace from one of them. And you'd remember that, and it would be significant, the necklace. Does that make sense to you?
I have my dad's ashes in a necklace.
Okay, then that's what it, that's what
That's
it
all I
is. 'Cause
think I can think
You
of.
very clearly gave me a significant necklace. And so then you were absolutely right that you have your dad here
Okay.
when you said it was him. Because I said, just give me something so it'll be very, very clear. And that's when I got the image of the necklace. So I was wrong in that he gave it to you, but it was significant because it's him. And I want to say, he's just like, oh, finally. I really feel like those were some of the favorite memories when everyone's in the living room watching TV together, just spending time together on the couch. Did you kind of have a big couch? Do you kind of have like a bigger, like either sectional or this bigger couch? I feel like there's like this big couch, lots of people, lots of animals, people, everything can just be on the couch. And I feel like this is, really a favorite memory of, spending time together, being together in that way and having meals together, talking together. I just feel like very much your routines were together. And I also feel, he would refer to you to daddy's girl, or you refer to yourself to daddy's girl. Is that something that you said or he said? I just feel like it was easier for you to talk with him than maybe have conversations with mom. I'm just getting this feeling of daddy's girl, or that's the image, that's the words that they dropped in. Does that make sense? Did you call yourself that, or did he?
I always said to my siblings that I was my dad's favorite, and then they would say this. My sister would say the same thing, but I did always call my dad and not my mom first.
Yeah,
So
that's the feeling I was getting, is just, daddy's girl, and just like that feeling of, or even if not expression, but the strong link and connection there. Again, I talked about that trust earlier. That's very much coming through. And I also feel okay, I feel like there's someone else coming through. They're switching people on me for a minute here. Was your dad kind of a quieter guy? Because I do feel like, because he was just kind of hanging out with me and I could get a couple pieces, but there wasn't like a really flowing conversation. Was he more of a quieter person? I get the feeling he was quieter and just more like, man, a few words kind of thing. Or no? Okay.
Nope.
I don't know why it was. I don't know. Maybe I was just in my head. I must have just been in my mind too much trying to sort it out, because I was really, I was really feeling like I was like kind of waiting for pieces of information, but also, I have a grandma stepping forward. I have your grandma stepping forward. And I feel like there was a special connection with one of your grandmas. I feel like she's talking about, she's talking about spending time together, like on the weekends sometimes, or on Saturdays, or I feel like you would spend some time there, helping her cook, helping be with her. Would you also have younger siblings too?
I'm the youngest. I
You're
have
the
cousins.
youngest.
Yeah, I was cousins that are younger.
Okay. Because I'm getting the feeling of, yeah, other kids around that are younger. So would you understand one grandma that you were closer to, that you would have
Yes.
spent more time with on the weekends and cooking with, and kind of just helping and being with her? And okay, they just stopped me and I was like, why did you stop with the communication? They said there is somebody that you really want to connect with. And there's no guarantee when we do the mediumship who comes through, but we can put a name out there and we can set the intention for, it's almost like there's a whole bunch of people around us. So if you do have somebody specific that you want to connect with, if you just give me the name, no relationship or anything else, that will help. Just make sure I'm just picking up information from them.
Nothing. My grandma left. She was like, I'm out.
No, absolutely not. She's definitely here. She laughed. When you said that, she laughed. She's like, no. No, she's very much here. And but she knows you want to talk to somebody. And I feel like this person's closer in age to you. Like this is either a friend or someone closer in age, but she's one that kind of mentioned that there's somebody that you wanted to talk with or connect with, in addition to them, which they know and they love you. But is there someone specific that you and this person felt like it was closer in age to you, and the relationship to me felt like friend.
Okay. 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 But that doesn't necessarily mean my grandma would know them, right?
No, well, no, now she does. I mean, now she wouldn't necessarily.
Yes.
Yeah, no. She just linked into you and knows things you're thinking about. So just to check, did you have a person that you wanted to connect with in addition here, besides your family members? Was there someone you had in mind that you'd like to connect with?
I didn't think so until you just said that, but I mean, I guess it could be just for now that you just brought that up, like, oh, okay, let's see what's going on.
Okay.
Do I say the name or no?
Yeah, the name, please.
Oh, okay, Layla.
Okay. The first feeling I get with this person is that that Layla has children here, a child or children here. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. And that's the first feeling I get here. Okay, she talks about that you have checked in on them or inquired about them, like it's almost like you check in, you ask how they're doing, that you're checking in on them. Does that make sense to you that you've done that?
Yes.
And she wants to thank you for that. That means so much to her. That's so oh my gosh, she's fun. You guys had a lot of fun together. I mean, she is, so when I connect with her, there's a lot of commonalities. Like there's a lot of, you guys know a lot of the same people. And also, I don't know if you work together. I feel like there's a lot of, like, when you're sharing stories, there's a lot of commonality. Like you would absolutely understand, you didn't have to tell her what was all happening. Like she just knew, and the same, and vice versa. Like you and her had that kind of relationship where you could almost just start the sentence and she could finish it for you. And she also makes me aware of, I get this feeling that you guys worked together at a certain period of time. So did you guys used to work together, or for a while work together? Or
she's my neighbor.
Okay. Because I just got this feeling of like knowing a lot of the same people, and so that would make sense in neighbor capacity. I thought it was work, but
she did know the same people just from where she lived and worked. We had similar people from the area, and neither one of us are from where we live now, but from where we both grew up, there was several similar people.
Yeah, she just says in so many ways, like you've treated this how you would want someone to check in on your kids if it's a different situation. Like she just really appreciates that you've stayed a part of their life in the way that you have. And it's I'm just feeling a lot of love and appreciation from her coming to you. And I also they're showing me that swing set again. So was there like did you guys spend a lot of time like watching the kids on the swing set. Was this like a hangout area? Because that's the feeling I get, is that this is kind of like an area that we would just kind of hang out for hours.
So if you're going back to that male figure, it's making me think it's not my dad, because if he's saying that that meant, so there's just too many things that meant a lot to him. And so yes, my backyard, I
It's
had
kind
a
of a
swing set,
hangout.
but there was a park right behind it too. So
Okay.
we had a swing set and a park. And so when we would go outside and smoke, when we all smoked,
Mhm.
that's what would happen. So it's still really hard to figure out who it really is, because
Yeah. Well, they could be popping in
and
and
it
I
could be
apologize.
the daddy's girl, but in the same time, um, his friend had no kids, so like I was like the adopted at the end. So it's still really interesting to see if they say anything that would make sense. There's so
Yeah,
many.
well, and I mean, they say a couple things that come through is, and he would have said this when he was here, because they do move around. I mean, but he would have said like talked about how hard you work. Like he would have complimented you. That gentleman would have complimented you on that when you were here. You work so freaking hard all the time. Like that was something he said to you. You remember that, yes?
They both did, but my dad did, yes, too.
Yeah. Well, you do, and you do. And they're all just giving love and sending love to you. And also reminding you, kind of going back to that initial thing we talked about, is they're kind of reiterating the same thing, that you need to put yourself higher in that list, because you do give and give and give. And it's really important that you put your things and your wants and needs on that list and allow yourself to receive them. And I also feel, it's just, I feel this project that you've been wanting to work on, or maybe do. There's a project that is like stirring, that you really haven't even, you've just been thinking about. You haven't even really dove into it yet. Or if you have, it's like dabbling so much. It's more like it's been on your mind, it's been in your thoughts, and you think about it a lot. So I feel like it comes up in your thoughts a lot. But you haven't really, and it feels like it's trying to get what area. Do you feel like there has been this project you've been just wanting to get to, wanting to make more time for, and you just haven't?
There's house projects. I mean,
No,
yeah.
no. It feels like it feels more like a passion project. It feels like something you really, really want to do. Like you really, really do want to do.
Maybe if I
Well,
did more self-care and self-love, I'd figure it out. Not everybody else.
well, and I think, yeah, I think that's your next step. I think that's your next step, is to really make time. And I would really invite you to consider journaling, just doing some daily journaling,
I know. I need to.
even just like 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes in the beginning of the day. I'm just gonna just write whatever pops in my brain and just allow it to like flood in and come in. I want to circle back to grandma, because she didn't go anywhere. She did laugh when you said, "Is she leaving?" And I'm like, "No, they're always around you." I just basically tune into who's there and who's coming forward for communication, because they're always with you. They travel with you. Your love's what calls them in, where that link and that connection's there. When I connect to your grandma, I just get this. There's an overwhelming feeling of you knew that she was someone you could lean on and confide in and trust, and you knew that no matter what, she would love you at the end of the day. Like there just feels like there's a lot of support there from her. And I also feel like did she like to crochet or stitch or
Oh,
crochet?
yes.
I feel like she would have these projects all the time, like,
Um,
you know, all over the house. She would just like be working on it and set one down and just like work on it constant, just talking, working on it. And that was just one of the things she loved to do. Incredibly sweet woman. Yeah, she's.
Yeah, she was.
And if you have any questions for her or anyone else that come forward.
What about the name Frank or Bud?
Let me go and see. Well, with the name Frank, would that make sense for an uncle?
I had those too, but Frank or Bud would have been the same person, just different names.
Yeah, I was just feeling like I wanted to go move into the uncle relationship, but let me go ahead and just sit with him for a minute and see if I do get anything at all. I feel like this man had this this wheelbarrow in his yard, and he would just like go about and just like normal, like we normally do, like clean the yard, be throwing things in it. If I have the right person, like he feels really quiet and reserved. Like he feels more like reserved, keeps to himself a little bit.
Not many people in my family are quiet.
I'm just very faintly getting this image of a man. Okay. Do you know if he did work like in the coal mines or did work with coal, or do you know there's something? Because I keep getting this
He
like those
didn't.
those carts. Keep an image of like these coal carts.
Yeah, he didn't. He would no. No. I'm trying to think even great grandparents, but no, I don't think anybody did it. Everybody's from here. We didn't have coal in Chicago, right?
I'm thinking, okay, so I think I'm just in my mind with him. I'm just gonna like clear the slate for a minute with him, and because I feel like what I am getting though is a gentleman who's like really kind of quiet, even at family gatherings. He just kind of keeps to himself and he's quieter, and he really he likes to do like his normal routine. Like even if he would show up at family things, I feel like he doesn't stay very long, and he just kind of is there briefly, maybe eats, visits a little bit. He just leaves like early, and he just do you have a family member that sounds like that kind of like more of a recluse, kind of keeps themselves? And
there would have been one, or it would have been an in-law of mine. I don't know. Do names? What do you want on that one?
Well,
I do have one quiet relative.
but it's kind of like a little antisocial too.
Uh
Not to the extreme or anything, but just really is not comfortable and wants to go home early for everything, like everything.
Man, one's been gone a long, long time. I don't know. Man, that's like making me think even harder than like today. I don't even know.
It's okay.
That would have been like a long, long time ago that I would have to have thought about it.
Okay, you'll have this to check back later.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
If you're able to check it with another family member or something, but here's the feeling I get is that this person wanted to pop in and say hi. I feel like it's your family member, not in-law. I feel like it's one of your family members. And I also feel like they would kind of just show up for a party and then like be there for like an hour, maybe less, and just kind of leave. They just kind of, and it wasn't that they didn't I think it was just about their comfort level. They just felt like they were kind of, I guess now we call it social anxiety disorder, but they just didn't really want to be away from their home or out and about. They really kept to themselves, and yeah, that's all I'm really getting from them. But I feel like it was connected to your family and they wanted to pop in to say hello. And I'm curious why that came through when I tried to reach for Frank, but who had did Frank have the really was he always doing things like, did he have the cool cars, or not like the older cars, like was constantly working on a car? Because he's showing me these car projects, like almost like I'm
I said Frank, he went by, so I wonder if that, So
you have so many family in the spirit world.
There could be a Frank that has no relation like that. That's not who I'm thinking of, because mine would have went by Bud. So I said Frank, but he really went by Bud. Like even on his shirts and stuff, it was Bud. So now we got a Frank that's coming out. Yeah.
But so you had a Frank that was into cars.
It would have been like distant. And it might have been my mom's brother, but I never knew him. So that one I don't know. That's a good one. I don't know.
That's interesting. Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. I'm gonna pause just for a minute because I'm not getting Bud right now.
Okay.
Do you want to do more mediumship, or do you want to go more into your card readings, into your reading for you? Do you have a preference?
If there's anybody else hanging out or whatever you think, I mean, I'm good with whatever you're good with. And, even if there is a touch at the end, but I mean, if there's so I guess if I said two names to you, then you would see what happened. Would that work?
Go ahead and give me one first.
Okay. So I'm going to say Ralph.
Ralph. Okay. Well, the first thing I get when I move my awareness to the spirit world with that name is I have someone who is like cracking up, rolling, like he is a character, like funny, like always goofing around, joking around, laughing, not taking life too seriously, really fun loving, like really lighter natured person. Does that make sense for one of the names that you were gonna say, even if it's not Ralph?
Yeah, but it may not be the same person that you were talking to earlier, right?
Well, it really could be. I mean, I don't know. We didn't go through all the names earlier of who came through, but
who we were trying to figure out if it was my dad or his friend. That's pretty much what I was trying to.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one thing, I'll just continue with him for mix since he did step forward. I don't know if it's Ralph or not. You can tell me. But would Ralph have been like really just kind of always joking around? I get this lightheartedness with this man that I'm connected with.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
You're okay. Yes.
I did that just in case you had to be back at work on time. Like I didn't know if you had to end right at the hour.
Thank you.
Okay, so that makes sense for Ralph.
Yes.
Because he also shares with me just doing silly things, like really just practical jokes, like playing jokes on people, doing practical jokes here and there, just trying to basically get people not to take life too seriously. And I feel like that was part of his message too, is just don't take life too seriously. He'd kind of even make fun of people if they'd be all like uppity and just being too stuffy or taking life too seriously. He would just be like, oh, and make fun of them and kind of be like, oh, and even like, I feel like there was a memory of this, of him kind of like somebody would be on the phone and he'd almost be explaining how they are on the phone, like in a kind of a mocking or making fun way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. And I feel like that was just his, thing. Don't take life too seriously. Even stressors and things that are coming up now. He would say the same thing. Just don't take it too seriously. And don't let other people don't let other people get you into that state where you're so angry. It's almost like he wouldn't give people the satisfaction of getting angry, because he's also he would not say he would not say that it's a way of giving our power away, but it really is a way of giving our power away, because when we let people get to us, then all of a sudden our days take a whole different direction. And I also know, if he's bringing this up now, this must have been something you've been dealing with recently, of other people have been getting under your skin in a way, and really affecting your day and affecting how you've been dealing with some things. So I know that if he's mentioning all this, that's definitely something he's telling you now. Don't let him get under your skin. Like, don't let him see a sweat. Don't give him that satisfaction, because you get to decide how your day is, and just find a way to make a joke of it. Find a way to laugh it off or make a joke of it, and just don't let it stick to you, basically. So does that sound like him, like something he would?
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let me see.
Like, I'm like, yep, all the time.
Yeah, and he's just like, the more we practice just being that non-attachment. I don't think he would have called it that then, but now, just the more we practice that, not being attached to how others respond to us, like, we can be in our own space about it. And it feels like, it just feels like this has been something lately. It's just been draining some of your energy, for sure. Who next? Who would you like to connect with next?
I think we got like the two main that, if I still can't figure out, but it sounds like it was my dad initially, or it was his friend who just
Okay.
passed, and my gram. I mean, those were,
Let me
it's
ask your
hard to
dad.
tell. Yeah, it's hard to tell which of what it really was. Ralph is my dad, who you were just talking about
Okay.
as well. So that was like the hardest thing, but my gram and my dad, and then like I said, my dad's friend Ron just passed away. So
Ron did too. Okay.
yeah.
Let me ask him. Yeah, I'm going to close my eyes for just a minute. Were you the one always like wanting to rescue animals and bring animals inside? And I'm talking about not just dogs and cats. I feel like there's like skunks, squirrels, like any animal. Like, if you saw an animal injured, or you saw, because he's actually given me this memory of like trying to bring a wild animal into the house because it got injured or needed help, or I don't know. Do you have this memory of trying to bring a wild animal into the house, wanting to, or asking him to?
We used to bring in the rabbit, like the baby rabbits, and my brother would run over with a lawnmower. Like, he
Okay.
didn't do it on purpose, but like,
Yeah.
yeah. So
But you were
that's,
the one always asking. You were the one usually asking him to bring them inside.
um, it was, I still am one who has, I have 4 rabbits and a dog, and I have Ron's cat, and we have frogs, and we've killed a couple fish, and I would get a horse if I could right now. So
You can come visit mine. You can come visit mine sometime. I have
oh,
an older
look at
guy.
me. Oh,
Be
we'll
a
bring
little,
apples and carrots and mints. Yay.
be a little bit of a road trip, but yeah, he would love it. He loves.
That's all
He
right.
loves
It'd be worth
it.
it. Here comes Ron's cat right now. He's just a big old dodo. So
Oh,
yeah. And my youngest daughter is the same way when it comes to animals. So yes, I am known to like pick up a pit bull on the side of the road and bring it to the police department. So
yeah. I was asking your dad for like a shared memory, like a memory of something that you'd understand, that and he would talk about bringing in animals and asking to bring in animals, and just kind of some of them he'd be like, absolutely not, but sorry, just taking just a minute here to see if there's anything else to bring forward. Does somebody have like sailboat, like the little sailboat wallpaper that sometimes is up, whether it's in a bedroom, a bathroom? I'm just getting this like sailboat wallpaper, this image of this, or like someone decorated in sailboats, or who's got it feels like it's like, I don't think it's actually a sailboat. I feel like there's like decor. He's talking about like something being decorated that way, or he could be bringing up a sailboat, but he's giving me that image of these sailboats. Is that in someone's room? Okay, no worries.
No.
Okay.
If they're trying to make my brain go back to the early 80s, it's not going to happen.
No. They definitely, I shouldn't have made this work very hard. There's something, just remember I said that about the sailboats. It's just something, I don't know if there's going to be, you're just going to see, what I think's going to possibly happen is you're going to see like a reference, you're going to see like an image of a sailboat. It's just going to be part of what you're going to see and be reminded of him. So, but see what unfolds for you. And if you want to let me know, I'd love to hear. But I feel like there's a sailboat connection that is going to make sense to you after some time. So whether it'll sort itself out. I mean, the most important thing is I deliver everything that they give to me, and then it will make sense later, what they're referring to, or sometimes it's something that pops up later, and then I get a call and they're like, oh, this is what that meant.
Well, I'm trying to remember, we spend so much time in Michigan, and I'm trying to envision a picture of there's me and my dad or me and my papa. And I'm trying to envision if one of them had like a sailboat in the background, and I can't think. My mom's really big into sailboats and she lives in Michigan. So it's like one of those. Yeah. So if I kind of flip through and there's a picture, I'll be like, oh, then I'll message and let you know.
Oh, that's so interesting. Well, I think you might have already told me. So your mom's really interested in sailboats?
My mom, we make fun of my mom. She is part of the yacht club and we don't have a boat. But she does the training, and she doesn't want to leave Michigan because she loves the water and she loves sailboats. I do not like boats and don't like being on the water. So my mom is really big into the sailboats. That's her thing.
I think this was your dad's way of bringing up your mom, even if they were separated for a long time, or even if they weren't together at the time of his passing. But I feel like this is still his way of bringing her up, because as soon as you said that, I felt energy around that. Like this was his way.
There's a picture that I just was looking at of him. He did go with me to Michigan. And it's a picture I used for his memorial that I did big. And him and I are sitting at the bar. We ran away from my mom and my kids because my dad and I drove up with the kids. And so we went and snuck and had a drink like on the water, like on the pier or whatever. And I mean, not like we snuck. I mean, they would have walked by on the sidewalk and saw us. And so I just saw this picture and I'm wondering if there was, hold on, let me see if there's a sailboat in it.
No worries. I feel like I get the feeling that your mom and dad were like high school sweethearts, or together from very young. And I feel like they had a really long relationship. And again, they feel like children, like grew up together in a way. So that would make sense. Yeah.
Yep. And they still talk. Yeah. They were divorced in 96, but they still talked and got along and were.
I still feel a lot of love. I still feel like there's a lot of love for your mom. It's the way he makes me feel.
Oh yeah. They should never have gotten divorced. It was ridiculous, but yeah, I can't find it, but I'll find it. Yeah.
No worries. That was it. He wanted to bring up your mom. That was his way. Cause I just said, give me, like, is there anything else? I always try to give them a chance if there's anything else to come forward before we close. And so that we would have time to move into cards or anything else you wanted to do. And that's when he gave me the sailboat image. And I really thought, because it was like an old sailboat. So I thought it was like like bathroom wall covering or paper. Like I just that's how that's how I was seeing it. But it's not always like a perfect how the images come through.
You might
but
not be wrong though, because I am gonna message my mom and call her when I'm done and see. I can't. Maybe my
I feel
brother's.
like she has wallpaper. I feel like it's wallpaper. So they ask her about that because I feel like there is, whether they had
There
it
is
when
a sailboat painting in her family room. I do know that. That she did. There is a sailboat, but I will. But yes, we actually even included my mom in the obituary that, you know, she was the mother of his kids. So,
yeah,
but
and I feel like he wanted to bring her up, and I, you know what I also feel? I feel that he's just saying she was a better person than I. So I don't know if he gave her a bunch of grief. You know, I'm not getting deeply into the story, but all he's saying is, you know, I feel like she really, he just said it that way. I feel like she's a better person than I. I feel like he really wants to give her the credit. He's taking responsibility for the breakdown is how I'm receiving it. So I feel like whether his stubbornness or his not doing this or not wanting to go to therapy, not wanting to do the things, I feel like he's saying he's taking responsibility for the breakdown of the marriage. It makes me feel emotional in that too. So I start to get a little emotional. That sometimes they flood me and then like I just gotta take a breath. But there's an apology to her. So it's always up to you what you do with information. But if you would like to, you know, share that with her that he's he said he was very hard-headed and stubborn and so difficult to talk to. When he'd get his mind made up, there was no change in it. I feel like he would just get he almost wouldn't want to hear out the other side. Does that make, I don't know if that makes sense to you or not, but that's what how I feel like I'm receiving his taking responsibility for that. So
okay.
He wants you to be so happy and just do what you love to do. And I feel like there is, I'm a broken record because I said this 3 or 4 times, but find the things that bring you joy, find the things that bring you happiness, and find a way to do more of that in your schedule. So I feel like you're being invited to look at your schedule a little more, you know, a little with that little fine tooth comb, magnifying glass, and find the areas of pockets where you can explore your creative side or journal, write, read, whatever it is you love to do, relax more, whatever the thing is. I just feel like there's certain things maybe helping others where it's like they really don't want help. Like I think there's some people, maybe someone in your life right now you're trying to help that really isn't ready to make changes right now. So you can still be there for them, love them, support them, but just feels like there's the image they give me is like trying to pull someone up, and then as soon as you let go of them, they kind of collapse on the floor again, and then pull someone up, and then they collapse on the floor again. So if you're not doing, like, almost like if you're not there cleaning the house every day, the house don't get cleaner. You know, if you get them to a certain point and then you want them to be able to pick up, but it only gets done what you do. So and it could even be around that, like going over and cleaning their house and doing every week, you're doing all of these things. But it feels like they're not ready to make changes in their life. Is this resonating for you or making sense for someone in your life?
Well, the last part that you just said, yes, but he passed away, so it's not him. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So just watch that pattern. Yeah, just watch that pattern yourself. Make sure you're putting yourself, you know, on that list and high up on that list. So you're, you know, giving that to yourself, because it just and if you were doing, I specifically felt it around clean, like you go over to someone's house, you clean, you know, do a bunch of cleaning, and then they would do nothing in the between time, and you'd have to go again and clean, like deep clean it again. Were you doing that for one of these gentlemen? Because
Yeah.
I feel like they gave it to you.
I'm gonna punch him.
Very specifically. He would, you know, he's kind of laughing. He's just kind of like, I just figured you're probably gonna come back and do it another time or do it later, but acknowledges now that probably, you know, should have been doing some of that stuff. So I'm guessing that was that dad that you were doing all that for?
No, my dad passed away 2.5 years ago, and his friend just passed away 2 weeks ago.
Ron.
And Ron, yep. And
Okay.
so I didn't want him to, he needed to get organized. So whether he had, so for the last several months at least, he lived more organized. And then I didn't clean like, Clorox. I was
Yeah.
picking up all his shit and throwing stuff away. But
Yeah.
there was stuff he really couldn't do. And then there's stuff he could have done. So
I feel a lot of gratitude. I do feel a lot of gratitude for that. I also I also feel like he's also warning you of like, just watch your pattern. Just make sure you're also putting yourself on that list. It's not that we don't help others. It's not that we can't do those things and be wonderful humans. It's just make sure that we're also being wonderful to ourselves. Um, but yeah, you have a lot of loved ones who care very much for you, Heather. And I feel like, I feel like I didn't really um portray it as much as I'd like to, but how there's so many jokesters there, like how much laughter and joking and like um I feel like one of them in particular, maybe it was your dad, but there's this kind of honoriness about him of like, I don't know, making things kind of tripping people up and then kind of laughing about it, like making jokes at other people's expense, I'll say a little bit.
yep.
Not like your dad. Okay.
Yep. But it was always good. I mean, good fun, except when I would get mad about it. But I was one of the people he hit on like that, I'd be picked on, but so
Yeah.
you missed it when it's gone though. So
Yeah, well, he really just, it goes back to that same message from earlier. Just don't take life too seriously. It really is just a blip on the radar that we're here, and um yeah, he just doesn't want you to take it too seriously, especially the people giving you a hard time. Just send them love, and just send them whatever, just, but I feel like he said send them love because it's just like, don't, we
it's
can
my
get in our,
brother. Look at me. I'm like, it's my brother. Send him love and move
yeah,
on.
oh yeah, it's probably the, okay, that's why he's like send them love, yeah. But also we can get in like negative, like we can get in a negative spiral in our mind, and it's kind of like then we're sitting in the negative, we're sitting in that negative soup instead of,
Yeah.
so yeah, I feel like, yeah, just send them well and just focus on you, bring it back to you. um but I did want to thank you for the opportunity to connect with them. I mean, it really was wonderful to get. Sorry, I jumped around a little bit and moved around. I feel like they were kind of giving me messages all over the place, but
Oh, that's
um,
great.
I'm, I'm glad we figured out the swing set thing, because it just felt like that was like the hangout area. And I also feel like I want to say about that area, if that's somewhere you still live and you still have that, I feel like that's an awesome area.
I
You feel
don't. I moved.
okay.
Yeah.
I was just feeling like it was an area that you would, even maybe when you were still there, I felt closer to that, like the memories and stuff would come up more in that area, because of the shared energy still lives in in an area that that we spent a lot of time in. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. My dad didn't live long enough. I moved here and he passed away a month and a half after. So there wasn't many memories here. So
have you been having house, like little things happening at the house, like little annoying, like the
yeah.
faucet stops working and the drain, whatever?
My refrigerator was leaking into the basement. The kids put too much stuff on a coat rack that was in the studs and it pulled out of the wall.
Oh,
Um, like 3 studs, like it's off the wall. So it's been like little things that, yeah. And it's
he
literally just
mentioned
been like,
Yeah, no, he mentioned that, like that it's annoying little things. And he's like, just look at them as just life annoyances, the little things, but in the grand scheme, the love, the memories, the time sitting on the couch watching movies, like that's what's gonna matter most. Those are the memories, the aggravations, those things melt away. But um that time and conversation, that time just spent together, the time, long drives together, getting to talk, and just that's even just driving in silence. It's just nice to be together and have those shared memories. And I feel like that's what he wants to say about the house stuff is don't sweat the small stuff on that. Even though it don't feel small when we're going through it. It never
Oh,
does.
you know what? I literally have left those two things. The one was, I think, Christmas Eve, and I heard it go boom, and I was like, well, that sucks. And I literally just walked away. I was like, what am I gonna do? I'm in the middle of getting
Yeah.
ready for family. So I really have with some of the house stuff. I was like,
Awesome. That's so
so
good. That's so
working
good.
on
Well,
it.
well, he wants you to know he's seeing it, like he's there, he's around, he's getting to see, many things happening, and they really are just a thought away. I mean, it can be wonderful to like receive messages from a medium to get that validation and hear things about our loved ones that the other person wouldn't know, but you have that link with them all the time, and they really are just a thought away. So know that he receives everything you think about him, send to him in your thoughts or say. Just know that he's all of them. Your grandma loves you very much. I feel like she's so sweet though. She just wants everyone else to have their turn talking, and she just kind of feels like she's been hanging out with her like warm energy. And I know you shared that you have Ron's cat, but I feel like there's a lot of appreciation just for everything you did for him.
Oh, I know he did. That was actually the last thing he said to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't have done it without you. That's what he says. I couldn't have done it without you. So he knew what a lifeline you were. And that in those types of things, Heather, that is so healing when we can help another person. Especially, we're all gonna have vulnerability at different times in our life. And when we can help someone else in a really difficult time, that love and that kindness, it lives on forever. It links us to that person, and it lives on whether we're helping a person, an animal, anyone. It goes out. And again, the more we put out in the world, it just comes back to us in so many ways. And the main thing is they're just telling me, yeah, you're putting out so much to others. Make sure you're doing for yourself, and also just again, there's so much love, like your heart, you really do lead with your heart, like you really do move and work and live from your heart center. I can feel it so much within you. Is there anything that you have been struggling with that you want to ask? You can ask just your guides, spirit in general, like you can just ask them, is there anything that you want a little more information, insight, wisdom on?
Like from a personal level, is that what you mean? Like, so not.
Yeah, anything at all. I just wanted to make sure you're always giving to others. So I just want to make sure you're receiving everything that you want to. Okay.
So I don't know how to phrase it. Like it's more so everything I always hear is about like my career and how much I give and all that. And I'm like, okay, great. So I am always just curious if am I doing this the rest of the way of my life alone, or am I gonna actually find somebody who is good enough to actually be in my life and in my kids' life? Because that's the biggest thing, is that somebody who's worthwhile. So
I got a resounding yes. And I felt like you were going to meet this person I feel like you're going to meet them at church. And I don't feel like you go to church right now, but that's just the feeling that came up. So I'm not calling you out and saying you don't go to church, but I feel like it's going to be at a church. And I feel like it's not like a stuffy, sometimes
at a
church,
stuffy Catholic church. Uh-huh.
it feels like this is more of, what it reminds me of. I have a church, local church here that like they do all kinds of kid events, fun things. They do all kinds of social things. Like it feels like it's going to be, and this is just the feeling I get. Just know you could still meet someone absolutely wonderful at a bowling alley.
Oh no, I've been saying I have to go back to church. I really have. So
That's what popped in my head immediately, was that you were going to meet this person at like one of those like church social things. But your kids go there too. So would you have younger kids that are still like doing part of like, I don't know. I just feel like there's church, like it just feels like you're gonna get involved with some of these activities, fundraisers activities. So that's just one possibility for you to explore and see what, it has to feel right for you. It has to be the right fit and feel right for you. There's also this feeling of meeting someone in a service oriented way. So the other thing that could be is something service oriented. So if it's not outright church, I mean, maybe it's like you guys are both working at a pet drive and meet that way, but it just feels service oriented to me. Yeah, and it feels like you're like, when you meet this person, it's very much like finally someone who has similar values as me, and someone who really values honesty and family, and that's how I feel. But I feel like you do. Just trying to see if I'm feeling when. That's interesting. You've been talking about going to church. So you've actually been thinking that and talking about that.
So since we moved, it's been like 2.5 years. It's almost been 3 years already. And I told the kids that I wanted to switch and explore, a church in town and something different. And we've gone to Catholic school about my whole life, their whole lives. And so and then they're like, no, we don't want to, like, we stopped going. And I was like, no, we're going, whether you like it or not, kind of thing. And so I just haven't put forth the effort because I haven't.
Yeah, and it feels like it's a church that is really active with like community events and does all kinds of, so I don't know the denomination. I don't know what denomination it is. But I would just encourage you to explore and see what feels right. It'll feel right for you. Your soul will be guiding you the whole time. You know what I mean? So it's so
Yep.
interesting that come up in your, I mean, we have all the equipment, we have all the intuition, we have all the links. It's just utilizing, we are constantly receiving messages and wisdom and insight. It's just noticing them. It's really the awareness of noticing them, and then deciding if you want to take action on them. So I would just say check out some places and see what feels right. But I would have it go off more of a feel. I mean, for me, I would have it go more off of feeling, like what is feeling right and resonating, versus like the thought that it has to be a certain church. I would be open to it being maybe somewhere you haven't thought of before.
Okay.
Okay. So I pulled a card. I wanted to, well, actually I pulled a couple cards, but I wanted to end with this one about surrender. Because I feel like often what we most want in life is about the doorway through that is letting something go. So often the thing that we are most wanting can come into our life with more ease as soon as we've surrendered and let something else go. So this card is surrender outdated beliefs about yourself. Let go of limiting ideas about yourself that originate from the past. Then you can own your power and soar in your life. And there was also one about surrendering to joy. A key to positive change in your life is to let joy in and savor it. Indulge in random acts of smiling. During both the hard and easy times, keep surrendering to more joy. And that's a hard thing to do when when we're going through difficult phases, especially when we're working through grief and going through a lot of loss. Like, it's really hard to put our awareness on more joy, like to really seek it out, find it, search for it, uncover it, unearth it, excavate it. I mean, it really can be. And sometimes it's just a matter of setting the intention. I want more, I'd like more joy in my life. I'd like to notice more moments of joy in my life. And I feel like there is an effortlessness that can be in the surrendering process, where instead of like searching for it, trying to make things happen, we're just kind of more in an allowing, receptive place of allowing it in and allowing it to happen. I'm a big fan of prayer too, and not in the way that I learned it as like growing up, but just in a prayer of starting it with thankfulness, like, thank you. Thank you for this roof over my head, this family of mine, this amazing people in my life. Thank you. And then I also, after I've been thankful for certain things, I'll say, and thank you for this other blessings in my life, like the other things I'm calling in and creating in. So thank you for allowing me to meet amazing people or an amazing partner. Thank you for allowing this. And I say it as if it's already happened. You've probably heard this because you know about this from Law of Attraction, but saying it as if it's already happened is even more powerful than making it someday in the future. So just something to consider if it feels right for you is to make that part of your daily practice, whether you do it when you first wake up, or you do it at the end of your day, but making a practice of getting into that vibration of gratitude and allowing that vibration of gratitude to get you in that vibration of receiving and allowing more in. How does that feel when I talk about it?
It's something I need to do, and when I do it, be consistent about it, because I will do things and say prayers and then I'm not consistent with it, and so I feel better when I'm doing it and then I don't do it. So it's same thing with journaling.
I know, me too. Same exact thing. I'm actually creating a daily habits, like it's funny because it's even on my list for today of like writing out some daily habits and then making a laminated sheet just so I can like check them off. Because honestly,
yeah,
I really need to, because sometimes the day just gets away from me. And
yes.
and I feel like I'm one of those people, like, if I see it on a list, then I'm probably going to do it or make an attempt to do it. So if I just have that thing in front of me, I will be like checking some of those off a list. And even if I don't get to them all, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. You need to make a list to make a list, because that's about where we're at and just needing to slow down. So I agree. I do.
There's just so much happening in it's been go for several years now. Do you have any questions? Do you have anything? I hope this was helpful today.
It was very good. Yes, thank you. Is there anything else that you think, suggest, want to go over, since this is like all new to me and first time I've ever done it? So
oh my gosh, I love that. So you've never had a mediumship reading before?
no.
Oh, well, thank you so much for being open to this and for connecting with me. I
Absolutely.
think there's going to be more unfolding like this. A reading isn't over when the reading's over. It really changes that, because we had things opened up within you, I'm sure, during this reading, as we covered things, talked about things. You're still going to have a conversation maybe later with your mom. You're probably going to have more conversations in general. So it'll still continue to unfold. And also, I want to tell you, we're more open in the days after a reading because we had our focus here, we had our attention here, we moved all this energy. So watch for little signs and ways that your family members get through to you directly, that they'll be sending to you, that you will see those things come through, and just take notice of them. That's all you need to do, is just take notice of them. The other thing I would say is I would just set some intentions for what you, so like, let's say it is about meeting a partner, if that's one of your big intentions for this year. I think it's really powerful to write our intentions. So maybe consider writing out that and writing out some qualities that you want in that partner, and just almost like you're putting an order into the universe of just saying, dear God, I am so grateful and thankful that you brought this person into my life that is kind, loving, nurturing, understanding, patient, all of the things that you want. I have this workshop I call writing into existence and speaking into existence. It's just a manifestation work that we can do around bringing things into our life. But it's really about us getting ourselves in a receptive place of allowing those blessings to come in. And that's why I think that practice, well, you don't have to do it daily. I mean, I can't even do mine daily half the time. I try, but just doing that as often as it feels right for you. And let me see if anything else. Just make sure you're pouring some of that love that you pour onto others, pour that on yourself as well.
Okay.
I know it's more comfortable. It's easier to give it out, isn't it? And so that's wonderful to do. But also, yeah, just allowing that in, allowing those blessings in too. I did, there is one card I didn't talk about with you. I did get the confront card. And now that I just said that last sentence, I feel like there is, remember when I said release limiting beliefs? Releasing your
Yes.
limiting beliefs. I feel like there is a limiting belief that I invite you to look at and consider, but I feel like there's a limiting belief of I don't deserve, or I'm not worthy of what other people have. Almost like there's a feeling like it's more understandable when you see someone else get the relationship, the partner, the person that they want in their life. But do you feel like you're holding a belief that I can't have that? Or
God, I don't think I am, because it's the opposite. Like I feel like it's the opposite, but
we'll
I'm also
explore it.
very picky about
Well, that's
just not
good.
any schmo. And so I think I am, but I don't think that I'm doing that I'm not.
Okay. Well, explore it in your journaling. If there really isn't anything, then you'll know. But just explore it in your journaling. Just if there's anything to clear. So I would just, as you're writing out that person, like the qualities of that person, what you want that person to be like, and to be in your life, then write a little bit about if there are any limiting beliefs I hold about attracting this person into my life. Allow me to release those now. Something like that, just to do a little release. And hopefully there is none, but I got the confront card, and I also got the release limiting belief. So there were two cards that kind of indicated there might be something that's kind of like holding it from happening right now in your life. So just explore that and look at that. And if you wanted to, we could even look at that more deeply in like a separate, we could do like a 30-minute session or something around that and explore it a little more. But
Okay.
I'm excited to see how it unfolds for you. And
Thanks. Me too.
sorry, I kept you a little older. Hold on a second. I kept you a little bit over.